This is here with the CasterMuse Star League Season 4. This is from the round of 4, and it's a best of 7. We've already had 3 games, so if you haven't seen those, you might want to jump out and look at them now. That aside, this could be the final game. Right now, Action leads 3-0. He's played a couple very aggressive games, even opened with a 9 pool in the more macro-esque game, in which Free tried to go mass Zealots without Corsairs. Mutas kind of got him, went into mass Dragoons, and just could not afford enough High Templars to deal with the Hydra Swarm. So, tough series so far here from Free, being down 0-3. But you know what? It has been aggressive games. Luck hasn't been on his side, and Action's been playing really, really well. So we're going to see if Free can come back a little bit, give us a bit of a series here, and yeah, show off his great PvZ, because I tell you, he is a very strong Protoss vs Zerg player. So our map is Optimizer. As you can see, you have this natural here. In fact, let's look over here. You can see 250 minerals per patch, which you can, of course, hop a probe drone or SCV over to go down here, where there's another expansion with a gas. Lighter gas, I believe it's 3K. Yeah, there it is, 3K. Also, this gives you more mining for mineral patches here at the natural, so it's a very rich map overall. You also have the 2 geysers in your main base, but 4,000 and 1,000 as opposed to a single 5,000 geyser. So definitely a little bit different in that way. And yeah, I think it's a very interesting map because there are so many like low geyser expansions and so many geysers in general. So you can get big boosts of gas, but it doesn't last as long as regular maps, right? Also, it's kind of more islandy, because you can take bases like this, where in this type of situation where we have Free up here in the top right and Action over here in the top left, there's really no way for Free to get in here except shuttles, right? Like, there's more mineral patches down here that can be mined, but there's no world in which Free is going to mine those minerals out to be able to attack up into this area. So unless your vertical spawns with each other, that you basically have an island base to yourself, and that just makes the map play a lot differently, because you can get a hold of a lot of gas pretty easily as Protoss. I always feel like Protoss gets to play really differently on the map, right? You can actually afford a lot of High Templars that way. Well, anyways, we have the first Zealot just walking across the map right now. He's on some business. Let's see what he can get done. The 1 gate expansion is occurring. A second Zealot is coming up to join him right now. And let's see. This is a long journey for this little guy. The probe already harassing a little bit. Look at that. Throws a creep colony down to block him. And look at that little tiny area. This is kind of cool. I'll stop because I'm sure you guys are getting annoyed. But I actually kind of enjoy that. That was cool. But anyways, he is going to run away and hide in the other side of the base. The probe running out right now, and here is that second Zealot. He was checking up in this area for third base, because that can be taken, but we see that Action actually has expanded here as his third, which is really interesting. What we might end up seeing from Action is a very turtled game, where he doesn't care about anything but staying alive with mass Sunken Lurker here and mass Sunken Lurker here. He can mine out the minerals on both sides to have a path through. Also, he can get a main base down here. So this would, if he can hold this as his third base, this will end up giving him 5 bases with only 2 places to defend, which is super, super strong. Some of the best macro Zergs like to play like that sometimes, like Larva, like Sulky, and sometimes Action as well. So we'll see if that is the plan for him. Now, Free has come down here. He has a couple Zealots and the probe going to town on the hatchery. 8 Zerglings coming down, so he should be able to clean this up unless they get behind a mineral patch. Action trying to be careful here. You want to be as efficient as you possibly can. It's not like there's a huge rush to eliminate those right now. More Zerglings being made. Over here, Free does have his expansion up, going for the gas. There's the Cybernetics Core, a single cannon on the way. Actually, quite a few more Lings being added in. Action going up to layer, as we would expect. And look at this, 2 more Zealots coming down, but the Lings are coming down as well. So that's going to be very helpful for Action. If these 2 Zealots showed up and no more Lings were on the map near here, he would actually kill everything. So very good thing that Action was on top of this, sending these Zerglings down to help. Now, here come the Zealots for a bit of a flank. Oh, he actually, yeah, he needs to bring these out. And a great surround by action. Gets a ton of damage on that first Zealot. These other ones going to run back a little bit. Looks like these Zealots are going to end up getting killed. These going to come up and actually engage upon these Zerglings. But it seems like Action is clearing everything pretty well. He does end up getting a drone there. So a little bit of sloppiness from Action. You definitely don't want to be losing drones when you're making this many Lings. And a single Zealot left. Did he actually realize he hasn't killed that, though? I hope so, because if that pops out later and kills more drones, he is going to be regretting it. It's just chilling in the corner there. Okay, Action going to go ahead and clean that up. Let's go over, see what our tech is. Oh my god, a Robo. I love it, I love it, I love it. A Stargate as well. Very exciting stuff here from Free. So it looks like it might end up being Corsair Reaver, which is a composition that we rarely see on a land map, but like as I said, this map somewhat functions as an island map a little bit, right, because of these bases. So something like a Corsair Reaver can be a little bit more reasonable here. I'm very excited to see it out of Free. Now, over in Action's base, he does have the Spire on the way, an additional macro hatchery, starting to drone up here. Notice he's favoring mining from some of these patches so that he can open up this area. Another macro hatch as well, starting to spread some Zerglings out. Wants to see anything leaving, of course. Robo going to be finishing up. Corsairs coming up. +1 for the Corsairs. Okay. This is going to be a great game. And this is definitely going to be one that lasts a considerable amount of time. I mean, it's not hard to be longer than the first 3 games, especially this first couple that we had. But this one definitely looks like one where no one's going to be able to kill each other or die too quickly. You know, basically, Corsair Reaver is something that it's hard to kill your opponent with. Like, occasionally you'll see it get out of control, but a lot of the time it's like there's lots of Scourge out, and you kind of have to play a little bit more retracted with your Corsairs. You have to make sure that you have enough and you don't lose your shuttle, because that can actually cost you the game. But also it's hard to kill the Corsair Reaver player, I think, because you have your cannons, but you also have those Reavers out. All right, so Free trapping a probe here to group with his Corsairs so he can stack them. He did already lose a single Corsair, so that hurts. That's definitely not what you're looking for. We have all the Lings kind of coming forward towards that wall. And yeah, okay, so we have ranged attack. Definitely shows us that he wants to go for Hydras, taking an additional base. We have Hydralisk speed on the way. Just some more Scourge. And then over on Free's side, we have shuttle speed coming up, which is no big surprise. You have to have shuttle speed or you just can't do anything against Scourge. If you have shuttle speed, you can kind of juke and jive and get away from them and protect your shuttle with the Corsairs and everything like that. All right, the Reaver and 2 Zealots going into the shuttle. He might wait until Reaver speed, or shuttle speed rather, is done, and then go out with his Corsairs and his Reavers. But look at Action on the mini-map. Look at that bottom left. You can see he has such a good Zergling spread. He sees absolutely everything that's occurring right now. Look at this. He's got a perfect surround on Free. How do you get out of here as Free? Now, we have a few Scourge, but mostly Hydra that's been produced. So, the Scourge, you know, sometimes I see when players play against Corsair Reaver, they'll end up having like a million Scourge, because if you end up getting some of the Corsairs, but then also the shuttle, that can just be a game victory for you. Well, Hydras are out. Going to push back the Corsairs for now. Third Nexus finishing up. Probes coming down to mine. You can see he's mined out some of this area. More Reavers on the way. We have the Citadel coming up, and of course he's going to throw down a bunch of gateways so he can actually make a big, strong ground army. And it seems like it is Reaver Corsair technically, but it's not the gigantic commitment that we see sometimes. At least as of yet. We'll see for how long he ends up making these Reavers. But we haven't seen him able to really move across the map as of yet. And during all this, I feel like Action is playing beautifully, right? He's adding so many hatcheries. He's getting so many drones. Because, again, when you're playing against Corsair Reaver, all you have to do is basically make sure that the Corsairs can't supply block you and the Reavers can't get in your base. I mean, easier said than done. Sure, that's fair enough. But It's not a composition like some of these very large zealot armies that run across the map and can do game-ending damage rather easily if you don't make units. So, you know, Action has droned up really heavily. He's macroing fantastically. And yeah, like, Free's not dead by any means. I feel like Action's putting out a really strong game here. All right, the Corsairs are still roaming about. Not finding too much. I don't think they've really even killed Overlords as of yet. Might start catching some. Oh, yeah, turn those around. And we have Burrow, by the way. So these are actually all Burrowedlings now, which is fantastic. And Burrow is, like, good for this. It's good for blocking Nexuses. Notice those flew right over a Burrowedling, so he knows where this is coming to. But also, you can use Burrow traps with Hydras to pop up and kill Shuttles as they fly in. I don't see that here this time, but we'll see if he utilizes something like that later on. Anyways, he goes in to this fourth base immediately, dropping out those Reavers. Scourge will come in, so he's going to lose one shuttle. Not everything is going to get out of here, but I think he knew that coming in anyways. Now, the Corsairs coming in, getting on top of a bunch of these Overlords. He's targeting down a hatchery, rebuilding these Scarabs as he can. Let's see how much value he can end up getting. Gets a few there. We have some nice juggling. Oh my god, he's getting some great Scarab hits here. The Reavers, though, starting to fall. There's enough Hydras that they can kind of bully it back, and he's going to get out. Oh, he actually comes back and redrops, gets another nice Scarab off, and will get out with 7 Corsairs as well as a Shuttle and a Reaver, both damaged. Don't know if he's going to go back in again. But you know what? I think that was pretty reasonable. He got some drones. He got some Hydras. He's doing things, and that's important. You can't just sit there and let the Zerg do as they will. Now, he's moving out with a big army right now. Free, a lot of Zealots, a lot of High Templars in here as well. He knows that so many Hydras were used at the bottom left, and probably right now, Action wants to fix up his economy, but he is making Lurkers. Thing is, the Lurkers aren't that scary when you have the Reaver tech. You already have the Robo out. You're going to be able to get Observers easily as well. And look at this, redropping and bringing over these Corsairs. Oh my god, this is a huge catch upon all those. In the meantime, we have a ton of Zealots moving forward right now, plowing through many of these Hydras. Look at this, trying to get around the Lurkers. This Sim City, though, way too strong. He's going to have to run out. A great Psystorm goes down, has to split those out, but one Psystorm not enough to get the kill. In the meantime, we have these... looks like the Reaver is still doing damage somehow. Everything is so deeply red. I'd love to see how many kills is actually on this Reaver. It finally falls, but it got so many. It looks like we had a Burrow there on the drones to keep them safe. But that seemed pretty good overall from Free. He did a lot there. Remember, he killed at least 10 drones because we had 57 when we started looking at the fight. Now, he's running around with a lot of speed zealots. Let's take a look at his tech, just adding some gates. Has that High Templar tech. Double Forge going, so he has 1-1. It looks like +2 on the way right now. Still has a good Corsair fleet also. And you know what? Setting up to take his 4th base. I love it. I love what I'm seeing here out of Free. He's really putting Action to the test. Now, moving forward, there's no Lurkers in this area, so this huge swarm of Zealots can do a ton of damage. Lurkers coming up and burrowing. A Hydra burrows there accidentally as well. And he's dealing a lot of damage. Look at that. He actually hold positions these Lurkers so that the Zealots can't get into that base. Burrows some more Lurkers. The Zealots splitting up, and they will get shredded here. So they started getting decent damage, but honestly, at the end of the day, it wasn't as good. And now we see something I never thought I'd see. The Zealots running into this area without the use of a shuttle. That's kind of funny. He should be able to clear those out, though. Now, a lot of Dragoons being added in. 9 Dragoons being produced at a time here from Free. Lots of cannons going up. Some High Templars being placed over at that 4th base. And it looks like it's going to be Lurker Hydra to just push out these Zealots. Of course, that's a very free way to do it, right? The Zealots can't even touch the Lurkers. They're going to deal a ton of splash damage. So a nice move here from Action, cleaning this up as quickly as he can. But Free massing an army. Look at these supply differences. 155 to 111. So without a doubt, we do have a stronger army from Free right now. But can he break the turtled positions? That's always the question that you're looking at in a game like this. When a Zerg player turtles heavily on 2 different naturals that give him additional bases so that he can go to 4 base, A lot of times what we see is a giant Protoss army try to break in. It's having a hard time, and then a huge flank comes from the other main base and sandwiches the army against the defensive units of Zerg. So if we see something like that, it could be bad. Now look, we have action moving out. He's kind of in a frontal position getting ready. So here Free goes. He's attacking, and the flank is incoming. But if he can break through quickly enough, it won't be a flank. He'll fight everything on this front and then everything on the other front. Some good storms going down. He backs up. Yeah, see, the flank was coming in. A huge burrow of lurkers, but he has great storms here. Forces them back, and he has to run. Now, this is good army movement from Free. Action making a great tactic to hit that flank, but not enough. Pulling back right now. Action going into his other natural. And now Free turning around as well. He doesn't want to be flanked. He's kind of going back and forth. His army is looking really good, by the way. Like, look at this. He has a lot of High Templars being mixed in, rallying out more and more Zealots. See how High Templars just continue to flow in. So many Dragoons as well with that +2 attack. And it's really just Hydra Lurker at the moment. Now, we do have Hive, and we do have a Defiler Mount. So he's going to be getting Plague. He's going to be getting Consume. Obviously, Darkstorm's super helpful as well. So this could get into a situation where it's just incredibly difficult for Free to break in because of Defilers. We're not there quite yet, I think. But actually, you know what? He has Consume. It looks like he's getting Plague right now. So down goes the Darkstorm. This will prevent any damage from the Dragoons, which is a big part of his army. But the Storm's coming down. The Zealots charging in right now under the orange cloud. But look, there's so much free damage being dealt from these lurkers. He's got to throw down storms or at least get his Zealots on top of them. Another lurker does burrow. Lots of damage being dealt as Free continues to try to push in. Is he going to actually be able to break into this? He has a lot of Zealots and Archons here, a lot of storms as well. He's starting to break through these lurkers. The Naius does pop out a few more here. Pushing forward, and oh my god, the storms in this cramped area doing fantastically. Take down 3 lurkers right there. The Dragoons adding in damage where they can with what they can hit. More storms blanketing everything that's coming through. He needs more Zealots in here, I feel like. If we ever run out of these Darkstorms, he'll plow everything, but the Darkstorm's kind of keeping action alive at the moment. Another storm going down. The Archon fighting strongly. +3, +2 here for Free. He has been upgrading like a madman throughout. Definitely helping him go forward now. The Dragoon's still doing basically 0 damage throughout this battle, but he still might bludgeon his way through. Got to get rid of these Defilers. The Defiler ready for another one. Zealots and Archons getting into that main base. A Plague goes down, which is very, very strong, and maybe he can eliminate these Dragoons, but look at what's in the main. He is going to end up losing a lot up there. A flank coming in, but more Zealots coming up, and GG is called. Free takes his first game.